Hi, friends.
Welcome back. Today, I'm sharing a powerful story full of drama, betrayal, courage, and a bit of revenge. So get comfortable and enjoy the ride. Let's begin. The security camera blinked at me as I stood outside my own house, still wearing my hospital scrubs after a long 12-hour shift in the ER. I was exhausted. My feet hurt, my back ached, and all I wanted was to fall into bed. Instead, I was staring at Patricia's smug face on the doorbell camera, trying to understand what she had just said. "I'm serious, Emma," she said, tapping her nails on something off-screen. David finally came to his senses. "This house belongs to our family. You were never good enough for him, or for this place. My name is Emma Chin. I'm 32, and I was living through every daughter-in-law's worst nightmare. But unlike others, I had seen this coming for years. Patricia Williams, my mother-in-law, had been trying to ruin my marriage since the moment I met her 5 years ago. At first, it was little things, mean comments about my Chinese background during dinners and constant judgment about my career. A doctor? But when will you have time for children, she'd ask. She even tried to get David to date daughters of her friends. But in the past year, her behavior got worse. She wasn't hiding her hate anymore. And tonight, it looked like she was making her final move. I shifted my weight and held my work bag tighter while staring into the camera. "Where's David?" I asked calmly. "I want to hear this from him." Patricia laughed. "He's not here. He's staying with us while he figures things out. But he left you a note." She held up a piece of paper, probably written quickly. "Want me to read it?" "No need," I said, taking out my phone. "I'll just call him." "Oh, he changed his number. Starting fresh," she said proudly. "There are some boxes on the porch with your stuff. Just take them and go. Don't make this harder than it needs to be." I looked at the 3 boxes stacked near the door. They weren't there when I left for work. Some of my clothes were sticking out of the top one, clearly packed in a rush. My throat tightened, not from sadness, but from anger. "Patricia," I said, steady and serious, "I'm giving you one chance to open this door and tell me the truth. Because what you're doing could land you in serious legal trouble." She scoffed. "Trouble? This is my son's house. He has every right to." "This is my house," I said sharply. "My name is on the deed. I paid for it. What you're doing is illegal, breaking in, stealing, and harassing me." She went quiet for a second. I could tell she was thinking. "David told me this was his house," she finally said, but now she sounded unsure. I smiled, remembering the day I bought the house. David had wanted his name on the deed too, but I said no, something about taxes. Really, it was because I saw how Patricia controlled him with guilt and money. I wasn't going to let her take over my home. "Want my lawyer to explain it to you?" I asked, already dialing my friend Jennifer. "She can tell you exactly how much trouble you're in." "You're bluffing," Patricia said, but I could hear fear in her voice. "David would never let you." "I'm not bluffing," I cut in, "and I'm done talking through a camera. You have 30 minutes to open this door and leave my house before I call the police." "Your choice, Patricia." I walked back to my car and sat in the driver's seat. My hands were shaking, but I felt clear and focused. I'd been getting ready for this ever since last Christmas, when I overheard Patricia telling David to man up and take control. Since then, I saved every rude text, recorded every phone call, and wrote down every unannounced visit. I called Jennifer, my best friend since college and a brilliant lawyer. She answered right away. "Let me guess," she said. "Your monster-in-law finally snapped." "She changed the locks. Says David's leaving me," I replied. "She's inside the house, claiming he's staying with them to think things through." Jennifer gasped and started typing quickly. "Did you talk to David?" "I can't reach him. Patricia says he changed his number," I said. Then I paused. "Something's wrong, Jen. This isn't like him. Should I call the police?" I thought about it. "Not yet. Give me 30 minutes to try something. But stay ready. Always. And Emma, be careful. Desperate people do desperate things." I ended the call and started scrolling through my contacts until I found the one. I was trying to reach Mark, David's younger brother. He answered right away. Emma, thank God. I've been trying to call David all day. My stomach dropped. You haven't been able to reach him either?
No.
And Mom's acting strange. She told me David was working late, but when I called his office, they said he never showed up. Mark sounded worried. What's going on? I quickly explained everything, watching lights flicker inside my house. Patricia was clearly panicking, probably trying to figure out what to do next. Oh my God, Mark whispered. I knew Mom was getting worse, but this is crazy. Do you want me to come over?
Yes.
And Mark, bring your key to your parents' house. I think that's where David is. 20 minutes later, Mark showed up at my house. He looked serious as he saw the boxes on the porch. Patricia still hadn't come out. The security camera was off now. She must have figured out how to shut it down. I called Dad, Mark said quietly as he joined me. He said he's staying out of it. Those were his exact words. He ran a hand through his hair, just like David always did. It made my heart ache. I'm sorry, Emma. I knew Mom had issues, but this is something else. It's not your fault, I said, checking my phone again. Still no message from David. Ready to go to your parents' house. Mark nodded and spun his keyring. You really think she's keeping him there? Where else could he be? We drove in separate cars, in case David needed a ride. The drive felt much longer than usual. My thoughts were racing. Was David okay? Had Patricia done something worse than I thought? When we arrived, the house was dark, but Patricia's Mercedes and David's Audi were parked in the driveway. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. He was here. Mark used his key, and we quietly walked inside. The house was spotless. Every picture frame and vase perfectly placed. Patricia's obsession with control was everywhere. Check the guest rooms, I whispered to Mark. I'll check the study. He nodded and went upstairs. I headed to the study. David always felt safe there as a kid. It was the one room Patricia rarely entered. The door was locked, but I saw light under it. My heart beat faster as I knocked. Dad, a voice mumbled from inside. It was David. No, it's Emma, I said gently. Can you open the door? I heard movement. Then the door creaked open. David stood there, looking pale and confused. His eyes were glassy, and he was swaying. Emma, he said slowly. Why are you here? Mom said. I stepped inside and caught him before he fell. David, what did she give you? Just something to help me sleep, he whispered. She said I was stressed. I was furious. Patricia had drugged him, probably with sleeping pills or worse. That's why he seemed so out of it and had gone along with everything. Mark, I called, keeping my voice low but firm. Come here. Mark rushed in and froze when he saw David. Oh my God, he said. Is he drugged? I checked David's pupils. They were tiny. Yes. Call an ambulance. Right now. Everything after that felt like a blur. Paramedics arrived, then the police. David was taken to a hospital, not mine, but a trusted one across town. Patricia had disappeared. A quick look at her credit card activity showed she booked a flight to her sister's place in Florida. Jennifer, my lawyer and best friend, arrived at the hospital just as the doctors finished David's tests. They confirmed what I already suspected. Patricia gave him a dangerous mix of sleeping pills and anxiety meds, just enough to keep him dazed, but not enough to raise alarm. We can charge her with attempted murder, Jennifer said, looking at the report. Plus break-in, theft, false imprisonment. I don't care about charges right now, I said quietly, staring at David through the glass. I just want him to be okay. Mark had gone to change the locks and secure my house again. The police recorded everything, especially Patricia's attempt to delete the camera footage. But she was too late. I had already saved it to the cloud. Every smug word, every threat, safe and ready for court. David finally woke up around midnight. I was by his side when he opened his eyes. This time, they were clear. Emma, he said, reaching for my hand. His voice was rough. What happened? The last thing I remember, your mother. I held David's hand and said gently, she's been drugging you. For days, maybe longer. She tried to make it seem like you'd left me. His face twisted in pain as the memories returned. The tea, he murmured. She kept bringing me tea, said it would help me relax. And then everything got blurry. I remember her talking about you, the house, but it felt like I was underwater. I couldn't think clearly. I held him as he cried, deep, painful sobs of anger and betrayal. David had always tried to believe the best in his mother. Now he was finally seeing the truth. I'm so sorry, he whispered. I should have seen it, protected you. I cupped his face. This isn't your fault. She's sick, David. But we're going to get through this. Together. 3 days later, the police found Patricia at her sister's house in Tampa. She was planning to flee to the Cayman Islands, but instead, she was arrested and brought back to face justice. The evidence was overwhelming. The drugs in David's system, the footage from our security cameras, the years of harassment, threats, and emotional abuse. Even Robert, her husband, finally spoke up. He filed for divorce and handed over old recordings, proof of Patricia's long history of manipulation and control. David pressed charges, refusing to sweep things under the rug. He testified in court, bravely recounting how his mother drugged him, used his trust against him, and tried to destroy his marriage. Patricia was sentenced to 15 years in prison. As they led her away, she looked small, broken, unable to meet David's eyes. Healing took time. David started therapy to deal with the years of emotional damage. I stayed by his side, through every step. We sold our house, it held too many bad memories, and bought a quiet little farm outside the city. A place to start over. Mark and his wife visited often. Robert, too, slowly learning how to be a better father, free from Patricia's shadow. About a year later, David and I sat on our porch watching the sunset. He turned to me and asked softly, "You knew, didn't you? That's why you kept the house in your name. Why you saved the footage." I nodded. I hoped I was wrong, but I had to be ready. He kissed my hand. Thank you for fighting for us when I couldn't. Sometimes, letters still arrive from Patricia, long, twisted attempts to explain, to guilt, to manipulate. We don't read them. Jennifer keeps them in a file, just in case, because we've learned that it's better to be prepared.
But we focus on the future now.
On healing. On the family we're building. One built on trust, kindness, and respect. Patricia tried to break us apart. Instead, she showed us how strong we really are. And sometimes, late at night, I think about that moment, the smug look on her face as she tried to erase me. She never understood that real love isn't control. Real love is what brought us through. It's what gave us back our lives. That's what we'll teach our children someday, not about the darkness we came from, but the light we found together. Because in the end, love wins. Not the kind that traps you, but the kind that sets you free.